French Revolution period. The appearance of new Serbian elites who traveled across the Europe led to a lot of new ideas of freedom, fraternity, liberty coming to Serbia. Serbia became a hotbed of areas, of ideas, and basically the idea of freedom. Serbia had always looked towards Russia for inspiration. Russia will make up for what it did with the Serbians at this point of time, but that will technically induce the war itself. But basically, the Serbians did not hate the Russians that much as much as they would hate all three together, because basically it's about alienation, and the Austrian hate will come, and I will show you very quickly. Very quickly, basically the Serbians fought it out themselves, but got no help. So the first uprising in Serbia was between 1804 to 1813. Don't have to remember any of this. Serbia remained independent for a decade, meaning for 10 years they were independent, but again the Ottomans will come back. And the second uprising will be with the re-annexation of Serbia, meaning the Ottomans fought first, then some time of independence, then again fought to get Serbia back. But Serbia was able to more or less defeat the Ottomans, and the Serbians and the Ottomans enter negotiations, which led to Serbia becoming more or less virtually independent. But the actual independence will only be recognized in the Treaty of Berlin, which we're going to talk about, its fourth event in 1878. But basically, since 1833, they were independent. They were independent. Again, don't have to. I'm telling you, this is just to give you the story. 1804 to 1813, 1804 to 1813, they have their first moment of independence, but they get recaptured, and then again they have to get it out of the Ottomans' hands. Basically, Serbia fights it out, gets their own independence. Serbian revolution clear, nothing here. Everybody, virtually independent means nobody recognizes its independence, but it is technically independent. Okay, perfect. Vaishnavi, you are coming to that. You're jumping the gun. Wait for that, because I'll tell you why they will start to hate Austria. Wait. Now comes the Greek War of Independence. But in order to understand the Greek War of Independence, you need to understand the context of the Greeks. So many Greeks shared power and patronage with the Ottomans in various official capacities. So the Greeks were always a part of the Ottoman Empire, very literate people. Small number of Greeks lived in modern Greece, others scattered around in the Ottoman lands itself. There is considerable autonomy in the Greek peninsula already, basically. And the Greek dominated the Balkan commerce, were shipmen and traders, meaning they're part of the commercial sector, they're part of the administration, they're part of everything. Thus, Greeks were not similar to Serbians. Serbians were insignificant, and they were made to feel insignificant, whilst the Greeks were important. So basically, the Greeks were never separated from Europe properly, because since the fall of Constantinople, which is when the Ottomans captured Greece, the capture of Constantinople in 1453 led to a lot of Greeks moving to Italy, where they will induce one of the events which we discussed, the Renaissance. And as sailors and captains, they were very close to the elites of Europe and interacted with the European world. And once the new ideas of French Revolution will come into Greece, they will also ask for independence. So basically, what this slide is telling you, how the Greeks are different from the Serbians. And this difference is what is shown in the way the world is going to react to Greek independence and Serbian independence. If you're not significant, nobody matters. So today, if something happens in Africa, nobody cares. But if something happens in Ukraine and Russia, everybody cares. This is called surrogate behavior. The Europe does not care that there is a major genocidal violence happening in Nigeria at this point of time, or that South Sudan and North Sudan are fighting with each other, that there is a lot of crisis in the Sierra Leone area, or people are dying because of hunger. type of understanding. One I care, one I don't care. And this is the whole point, that what even Jaishankar pointed out, our foreign minister pointed out, that Europe's problems are the world's problems, but the world's problems are not Europe's problems. This is the basic point, that the Europeans do this. And you can see it in 19th century itself, where they don't care about Serbia, but they care about Greece. And they care about Greece because Greeks are important, but the Serbians aren't. Are you getting my point, everybody? Come on. Perfect. Greeks are important because they were merchant class. They were the people who were important. Greeks are generally very literate population. Elites had a lot of money. In the Ottoman Empire was also important. This is the reason. Also, there is corruption and maladministration in the Greek sector. Central authority will weaken. Provincial governors will behave independently. Law and order will be totally gone. Bandits, thugs, dacoity will become very, very common. Local resentment will start to rise against the governors. Unlike Serbia, Greece had a proper planned conspiracy. Serbia was much more spontaneous. They will have an underground society called the Fiki Eritrea, which is nothing but the Society of Friends, which will organize an uprising in March of 1821 also. The revolt began in North Greece and then will spread across. The revolt, however, will be very quickly crushed by the Ottomans. And this led to the fact that every time the Greeks rose, they were crushed. So the Greeks were not able